Property Stokvel investment is what we're going to be talking about.
Yes, I'm actually excited to actually speak about this, because when it landed on my table today, I was like, oh my goodness, I've been following this for like a year now, and I think it's something so fresh. I think it's something so innovative, and I think it's something that a lot of people should participate in, especially because I feel more black people should own houses. How are you, my man? How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks. And yourself?
I'm great, thanks. So please let us know, what is your contribution towards the Property Stokvel Investment Club?
All right. Well, I'm the founder and the chairperson of Property Stokvel Investment Club. However, it's a concept that I believe it's a true radical economic transformation, and it's the only way we can create wealth. Why? Because when we're talking about property, we are talking about a vehicle that is appreciating in value each and every year. Now, we started this because we believe there is no justice for us in the black community. We believe we are still suffering the effects of apartheid up until today, which the banking system doesn't do justice to us. However, the only way is through property stockpiling, which in the Western countries they call it crowdfunding. In Africa we call it Stokvel. But the only issue that triggered my mind is that it is in South Africa, the Stokvel economy, it's estimated to be 59 to 50 billion in a year, and you look at that amount, it goes to retail and food. So we go on the other side, the struggle continues, and who's benefiting from that? We know, the monopoly capital. However, I'm not a politician. I'm not a politician. I am an entrepreneur, and then we saw that we can use the same system that we have been using for quite a long time, which it's been there for decades. And then we said we can use the same method, the same system, but now we are focusing on what? On property, franchise, and land. Now, our property Stokvel is that if someone wants to be a member, there's a 250 joining fee, which is non-refundable. After that, we send you approval letter with our constitution and everything, how we operating. Then on the Stokvel, we have two phases. Phase one, basically, it's where as members we are contributing 2,100. And then we deducting 100 rand for administration and for legal purposes, because you don't just buy a property and then that's it. There's legal fees involved. Now, after that, so far we're sitting at 50 members. Our target for phase one is 100 members. If we have 100 members on phase one contributing 2.1, obviously we'll deduct that 100 rand. That means we'll say 2,000 times 100 members, that will be 200k monthly. That means in 5 years we'll be able to raise 1 million. I mean, in a month we'll be able to raise 200k. In 5 months we'll be able to raise 1 million. Now, our aim, this Stokvel, we're only contributing for 2 years. After 2 years, we'll be the total amount that we'll be contributing, it will be 4,800,000. With that amount, we meet as a Stokvel, then we discuss what is it that we can buy. Now, we are focusing on franchise. Why a franchise? Because a franchise, I've done PR for quite a few franchises in the industry. I mean, I remember with Chilean, you remember I was...
I'm not Chile.
He used to be. He's now the father.
Okay, the father. Yes. So when we are here, I've done PR for a franchise which is called Nkoko Box. The reason I'm saying this is because I've been there from day one, and I can tell you that one of the franchisees in Mamelodi, it's able to produce 500k monthly ekasi. Now, I'm not just talking about any franchise. When we talk about franchise, it could be build it could be macro, it could be food franchise. Now, that means as a Stokvel, we are able, if we franchise maybe a build it, I'm just giving an example, to make 500 to 1 million in a month. Now that means in a year we can make 12 million. Probably it's an estimation based after maybe we paid SARS and obviously all the company liabilities. Now we will take half of that amount and we pay out to members as a dividend. That means all members of Stokvel will be shareholders of any property or franchise that we're going to buy under the Stokvel. After that, as much as our portfolio will be growing, we'll take the other 6 million, we reinvest it by buying more properties, more franchises, and more land. Now, when we buy the land, obviously we'll develop it. Also, we'll look at student accommodation. With that amount, we can have a student accommodation. We make money. The money
rent it out.
It comes back to us as a Stokvel. Now, when we see that we have reached a certain, point, we're going to introduce phase 2. On phase 2, it's where we're going to buy each other houses as members. How possible is this? I gave an example. I said on phase 2, members won't be grouped by 100, but now will be grouped by 30. If you say 30, and also we won't be contributing 2.1. Now we'll be contributing a minimum of 15,000. Why we introducing phase 2 at the later stages? Because you and I, we can afford 15,000, but not everyone. So that's why we are saying let's start with 2.1, which will give us a profit. Then at the later stage, we can say Astaleng ama 15,000. Now, if you say 15,000 as an example times 30 people, that gives us 450,000 monthly. With that amount, we can build you a house from a scratch, or we can buy you cash. Obviously, the house that we're going to buy, it has to be around 450k. But as well, we'll look at other options to introduce maybe few levels for those who want maybe a house worth $1 million. Now, that means in a year, we can be able to buy or to build 10 to 12 houses. That means 10 members will have 10 houses in a year. That means it will take us a minimum of 3 years for all members to have their houses. Now we say no more to 20 years. No interest rate, no bond.